as it wrapped itself around my unborn neck. I managed to stop it with my left arm. The cord wrapped so tightly around the arm that it severed it below the elbow. But the loss of that limb also likely saved my life. Being born into the world under such a grim set of circumstances on a day, Friday the 13th, that so many people have dark suspicions about could have been disheartening to my mother, but she chose a different approach. My mom was a religious lady, and she taught me that the date of my birth actually represented something very unique, very special. April 13th, 4:13, brought an important Bible verse to her mind that would serve as a daily reminder to me that no matter what challenge I faced in life, I could accomplish all things through faith. It was a verse she would remind me of often. It was a bold and inspiring thought for a young man with a disability. I can do all things. Philippians chapter 4, verse 13. The truth I found in this simple verse helped transform my life from something that could have been negative, that could have pulled me down into the depths of depression and despair, into something positive. It helped me embrace the positivity that could turn my greatest challenges into my greatest strengths. Still, growing up without a left forearm and hand was difficult, to say the least. In addition to the awkward glances at my arm and facing the normal obstacles of everyday life that most people take for granted, like learning to tie my shoes with one hand, I had also reached the unenviable height of 5'10" by the age of 10. My flaming red hair did not help my social situation either. I stood out in the crowd. For most of my early childhood, I was shuffled between the two households of my divorced parents. I loved them both. Both were great people, and both loved me. But for someone struggling to find his way in the world, this constant shuffle just added one more complication. To say that I harbored a deep grudge against God would be an understatement. By the way, I don't feel sorry for myself throughout the entire book, just some of the time, so hang in there with me. Fortunately for me, I had sports as a way to feel good about myself and enjoy life. I absolutely loved to play sports. At first, I tried soccer. Why not? It's a foul to touch the ball with your hand, so it was a level playing field for me. But remember, I was also a pretty big kid for my age, so I pursued my interest in both football and baseball. Even though I had limitations, when I was out on a sports field, the world and all its problems evaporated in my mind. All that mattered to me in those moments was playing the game. When I was in 7th grade, a friend of mine decided to go out for the school basketball team, and he wanted me to try out with him. If you've lived in a cave your entire life and have never watched TV, let me point out something obvious to you. Basketball is a decidedly two-handed sport, and I only have one hand. That's why it came as no surprise to almost everyone else when I was cut from the team. I, however, was completely stunned. I didn't make the team, but I was the tallest kid out there, and it wasn't even close. At least I could have made it tough for shorter kids, everyone else, to score close to the basket. I was devastated. Until this point in my life, my mother had always encouraged me by telling me that I could do anything I set my mind to. I'd played other sports with some degree of success. Why had I been cut from basketball? I was determined to prove them wrong, and over the next year I worked my tail off to improve my basketball skills. I used that initial failure as fuel to make the 8th grade team. I woke up at 6 in the morning every day to run the block with my neighbor. I spent all my free time shooting baskets at the park, and I joined several basketball club teams over the next summer. I figured I had to work twice as hard to be as skilled as a two-handed player, so that is what I set my mind to do: work twice as hard and get twice as good. Denying someone with a disability access to normal opportunities in society is obviously against the law, but there are still natural barriers to participating in specialized activities, including sports for most people, especially people with a disability. But this is also the part of my story where I stopped feeling defeated by what I didn't have. Being denied the chance to do what I thought I had the potential to do ignited something deep within me. For the first time in my life, I had both a purpose and a passion to succeed. I became the most committed.